Okay, we're back for part 2 here in Ron and Gary's Fearless Predictions for this week. And I'm going to let you go first this time, brother.
12-6, first place in the pool this year. Just thought I'd remind everybody out there of that.
Yeah, okay.
So we got a game tonight where we get a little bit tied up again, those stupid things called jobs. We're recording this on Friday. There's a game tonight in a couple of hours. And the first half of I guess I was going to say a home and home, but an away game and then a home game for Rochester. Rochester tonight goes down to Orlando to play the Titans. And you want me to pick this one first?
Yeah.
Okay. Based on what I saw last week, I'm fearful for Rochester. I don't know necessarily that it's a sign of things to come, but Orlando at home and Rochester, just the way they played last week, I don't know if it was disorganization or what. Long and short of it, I'm going to take Orlando at home tonight.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree with you on that one based on what I saw last week, and that's the only reason I got. I didn't see if it's obvious that they shut down their big guns. Orlando's going to try and throw the same thing at them tonight. They've got some big boys down there. They've got Casey Powell to put the ball in the net for the other side. So I'm going to take Rochester in this, Orlando, excuse me, in this one too.
Take Orlando, okay. So all the rest of the games are tomorrow. On the NLL website though, we got an afternoon game. Let's slide right down to that one first. Yep. Philadelphia is at Boston tomorrow afternoon. Me going again?
Yep.
All right. Stewie, love you, brother. We sat in the press box last week with Paul Stewart, and he got on my case because I haven't been picking Philly lately in these picks. But again, you know what? It's one of those games where these two teams have both struggled, but they've both looked, okay. Tough game for me to pick, but again, whenever it usually happens, I take the home team. So I'm going to go with Boston again in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you too. Boston against Philadelphia. Over Philadelphia tomorrow afternoon.
You're not going to pick up any games on me, by the way, just agreeing with me like this.
Yeah,
you know that, right?
Okay, Washington at Colorado tomorrow night. Washington, not a surprise to me because the Stealth were really strong last year and they really seem to be warming up to their new home. And Colorado, only the 2 wins as we mentioned earlier in overtime, and I'm going to pick Washington in this one.
Yeah, you know what? New attitude for Colorado. Steve Govett at home for the first time. That should bring a bit of a spark. I just think Washington is the better team. I think Lewis Ratcliffe has come in and done a great job in the absence of Colin Doyle in Toronto, and all the other pieces are still there. I mean, I think Washington was a very good team last year, and I just think they're the better team. And enough better than Colorado that I'm picking the visiting team here.
Go back to Lewis Ratcliffe really quick just for a second. Remember who he was traded for? It was Josh Sanderson, and everybody said it's almost like a 1-for-1 deal. And that was the impact that Ratcliffe was having in Colorado. He was utilized in
Calgary.
In Colorado, Calgary, excuse me.
Yeah.
He wasn't utilized properly in Toronto last year, and he was a bust. And I'm sorry, he just didn't work. Now, I believe the people in Washington are using him the way he should be used, and that is a big part of their success.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say he was a bust. I think he scored 40 goals last year, but there were so many other things going on in Toronto last year.
There's too many stuff going on in Toronto, and I feel sorry for Lewis because he was a great guy.
Yeah. Calgary at Edmonton, the Battle of Alberta.
Yeah, well,
what's going there?
I haven't lived out there for 7-8 years and listened to the going on against each other about hockey all the time. Man, Calgary could win the Stanley Cup and Edmonton be the bottom feeders or turnabout, and you'd never know the outcome of the game just because of the intensity of the fans and whatever. So this one is in Edmonton. I'm going to pick Edmonton just for the reason that they're at home.
And I agree. Two, I think, very close teams. Calgary, I was kind of unsure going into the season with the loss of Cordingley how they would do, but ultimately they still have a majority of the same team they had last year. But I think Edmonton is vastly improved. Brody Merrill there, Gavin Prout there, home game, and go with the Rush as well.
Okay. Minnesota at Buffalo.
What is going on in Bandit Land?
I'm not really sure, but we go back to this story about releasing Paulus and Shannon, and they're bringing back Clay Hill and Clancy, the kid from Peterborough, and they're really banking on him, Kyle Clancy, and they're really banking on these two guys picking up the slack where they figured Paulus and Shannon. Now, Paulus didn't dress for a couple of games,
right? And
so I don't know what there was an issue there or he was injured or not, because teams obviously don't tell you this. I just don't see them falling from their high place they were last year to this where they are now is very confusing.
Yeah.
Minnesota's hungry. They had some success in a couple of weeks ago. They lost last week against Colorado, so they're going to be itching for a win. Man, oh man. My heart, I'm going to go with Buffalo.
And you know what? I want to, but I'm not going to. I don't know what's going on there, and I really hope they fix it, and I hope they turn it around soon. I mean, we're what? They're 0-4. We're a quarter of the way through the season here, and they haven't got a win yet. Until I see that first one on the board, or until John Tavares comes back, I'm not prepared to pick them. And you know, Minnesota, I'm going to take Minnesota in this one.
Okay.
And the last game of the weekend, the one that you're going to be at, unfortunately, I'm not going to be down there. I usually make this trip every year, but this year you're going instead. So have a good time and stay off the wobbly pops. The rematch of last week's game, Toronto going into Rochester. And who's going first?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm actually going to pick the Rock. I was going to pick Rochester, and I'll be very clear on this. I was prepared to pick Rochester only because it's a revenge game. It's only a week ago. They were flat out embarrassed last week, and I think back at home they're going to be that much better. But they're playing the night before, or they're playing tonight down in Florida. With all the travel and such, and the toll that's going to take on you, I just don't like that situation. If they weren't playing tonight, Rochester would have been my pick tomorrow. But the fact that they're playing tonight, I'm going to take the Rock.
For the same reasons. I figured it was going to be a really, really close game, and maybe I was going to give the edge to Rochester because they got a lot of pride on that side. And after getting, you know, the thumping they took on TV last week in front of everybody and the fans in Toronto, that, you know, I was really going, man, the Rock are going to have to be careful in this one. But you mix in that travel, you know, that's going to be a tough one for Rochester. And I'm going to pick my Rock by a couple of goals at least. But then again, there's that monkey on their back of the Blue Cross Arena. I don't know. I'll have to see tomorrow night whether it's the lights or the popcorn or whatever the heck it is. I don't know, but I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Rock. You're going to have a really hard time getting me not to.
Oh yeah, for sure. And actually, I will tell you, it's a nice facility. I was there last year. I've been there. I can't remember. I don't know if I've been there once or twice. You got to make sure you hit the Dinosaur Barbecue.
Okay.
Everybody out there, make sure he hits the Dinosaur Barbecue before you go in. It's actually it's steps from the arena.
Okay.
It's like a block over, and
that's what Sean Williams told me last week. He said, "Go to the Dinosaur Barbecue."
Dinosaur Barbecue. I'm telling you, you guys in Rochester, fire off an email or two to him, or put some comments on the site. I've been there a couple times because we were there for Field Lacrosse too, and boy, oh boy.
Yep. Well, I'm looking forward to it. We're going to go. There's a couple of buses going down. I'm going to be in the front of one of them, and they got some of the cheerleaders, and I believe one of the girls from the stands. Krista or Shannon's going to be there and take the group down. We're going to have a really good time. I'm looking forward to it immensely. But
got your passport?
I got my passport. Yeah, I hope everybody else does. Remember those, because we get to the border and have to leave you there.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope next time I talk to you that the Rock are 4-0. I made a mistake last week, by the way. I noticed I said when I rewatched the thing, I said the Rock are 4-0, they're 3-0, and it's 4-0 if they win again this weekend.
Right on.
And
so
Bobby Watson named overall defensive and overall player of the week last week, and Garrett Billings once again rookie of the week. He's got 5 goals and 3 assists in that one the other night in the 17-3 win for the Rock. So Billings, great surprise, and so is Bobby Watson. He's playing at the Bobby Watson of old.
He is. He's playing phenomenal, and I think it's a little bit of, a lot to do with the new system. He's not facing the quality of the shots that he was facing last year. But what about this Billings kid?
Wow, he's something else,
he's
man.
phenomenal.
He just came out of nowhere. So that's great. So anyways, Gary.
BC boy.
BC, that's correct. Hope everybody
all BC folks out there
watching us. That's it. Till next week. I guess we got a game at the ACC next weekend against Philadelphia, and we'll be bringing you our next little bit then. And Gary, what else?
That's about it. So I usually do this, don't I?
Yeah.
So on behalf of Gary, Mark, and Ron Messer, who is?
Please don't drink and drive. It doesn't just wreck cars, it wrecks lives too.
Enjoy your time in Rochester. This is Gary Mark reminding everybody out there to stay safe, be good, keep your stick in the air.
All right. Peace out.